Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the what's next on former two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua, following his very clean, solid 12-round unanimous decision win over Jermaine Franklin, as he bounced back from his back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk. Before we get into that, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, then I really do appreciate any and all support. If you don't like what I'm doing though, or you don't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Leave a comment, let me know what you're thinking, and we'll go from there. All that being said, let's get into the Joshua Franklin fight for a minute. Joshua, I thought he looked very clean, very solid, good, solid, strong performance, and he walked away with a clean 12-round decision. Nothing, he didn't knock him out. He got a lot of criticism for that, but Jermaine Franklin didn't get knocked out against Wilder either, and against Dillian White either, and Dillian White hits pretty hard himself. So, I don't think it's really a testament to Joshua being past it or afraid to throw punches, as he landed a lot of really good punches, but he boxed them, and maybe that's what Joshua wants to do a little bit more. But in my opinion, it was a solid way to come back off of back-to-back losses to Usyk. He got 12 rounds in, and now he can gear towards something bigger. We'll see. So now the big question is, what's next for Anthony Joshua? Well, what we do know is that he was supposed to fight, or the plan was for him to fight in August again, and then in December. But he just came out the other day and said he likely won't be back until December. It doesn't sound like that's what he wants, because he said it's not as ideal, but that's the news. So not quite sure who the opponent's going to be or what he's going to want to do, but that's what we've heard. Now, we're going to run through the top 10 and see what his possible options are. We start with the reigning undefeated WBC champion Tyson Fury. Very possible, just depends on what Fury's doing next. If Fury, obviously Fury and Usyk is off the table, so now Fury is trying to find an opponent. I think he's probably not going to fight until June, and I'm leaning towards him fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. next, the WBC interim champ, which would be a mandatory fight. Now, if he were to beat Ruiz, I don't believe the WBC would have two mandatories and have him fight Wilder after that for a fourth time. But he might want to go back to the drawing board and fight Usyk, or get that fight done in the second half of the year. But I always think a fight between Fury and Joshua is there and is possible because of the money that it can draw. So, I think we could see Fury and Joshua later in the year. Next is a third fight with Alexander Usyk. Not seeing it. Usyk's already beat Joshua twice. I don't think he'd come back and fight him, at least not this year anytime soon, especially if he has to give up a belt for it. Because why? He wants to become undisputed. He wants to be the undisputed champ. He's got to hold on to all his belts to be able to accomplish that. And I don't think he's going to do that fighting Joshua. Next, Deontay Wilder for Joshua. I don't see, I think the option is always there because it's such a big money fight, but, I don't know how likely it is. And it's not even just because of options, it's just because they got to hammer out a deal some way, somehow. Now, I do think the possibility's there, but I really think it's going to revolve around what Usyk and Fury are doing next in the second half of the year. So we'll see what goes down with that and what happens. But I do think the possibility's there. But I'm going to lean towards the less likely until these two guys actually, are serious and make it look serious. Joe Joyce, the WBO interim champion. Not seeing this one. I like Joe Joyce. I like this matchup. I think it's a big UK matchup, but I don't think it's big enough for Joshua to take this kind of risk. I think if Joshua were to fight Joe Joyce, there would be a lot of people picking Joe Joyce to score the win, and I think Joshua would want that to be a title fight if he's going to go into a scenario like that. So I just think Joe Joyce is too much of a high risk for him to fight him next. So I'm not seeing that one. You got a third fight with Andy Ruiz Jr. You know, wouldn't completely rule it out, but I really do believe Ruiz is going to get the next fight with Fury. I think he'll lose. And then would Ruiz or Joshua want to fight for a third time if Ruiz is coming off of a loss? Maybe if Ruiz were to beat Fury, then maybe he would fight a third fight with Joshua. But I think a fight with Fury would probably be just as big or bigger a rematch. So Ruiz might lean that way, or he might lean towards a fight with Wilder. So I guess the possibility's there, but I don't think it's going to happen. Then you got former two-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz. I don't think Joshua would, even though Ortiz is older, I don't think he'd take a risk and fight a guy like Ortiz, because Ortiz is just too unpredictable. He has a big punch, but he is older, and he can also take a punch, but he is older. So, I don't think he'd want to take that risk. Ortiz is coming off of a decision loss to Ruiz, so I don't think Joshua would want to do that. Then you got Dillian Whyte, a rematch with him. I really do believe that this is likely going to be his next opponent. I think Whyte will probably come back during the summer, and then Joshua and Whyte 2 will happen in December, as Joshua allows the rest of the division to kind of clean itself up to give him options, and he'll go after an opponent that he's already knocked out, but is very, very intriguing in a rematch. And if he can get a big win and showcase himself, then he can walk into a monster fight in 2024. That's where I think he's leaning, but we'll see. Then you got Daniel Dubois, the WBA regular champion. I don't see this one because Dubois is a risk, but Dubois is also likely going to be fighting Alexander Usyk next, and I think he's going to lose that. You lose that fight to Usyk, so I think Joshua would look at Dubois as too high risk, low reward. Joseph Parker, a rematch with him. Not seeing this one. Parker's coming off of a loss, and Parker has that style to make you look bad. And he already made Joshua look bad the first time. Joshua walked away with a decision win, but it just wasn't a pretty one. And I think a lot of people would criticize Joshua even more if he didn't go in there and knock Parker out, because that's what Joe Joyce did. So I don't think he really has anything to gain from fighting him again. So for me, I think there's a ton of possibilities. I think the most logical and likely is Dillian Whyte in a rematch for Joshua, but I could also see Tyson Fury, a showdown with him, or Deontay Wilder, a showdown with him. So we just got to see how everything shakes out in the first half of the year and then go from there. But that's it. That's my what's next on Anthony Joshua, the former two-time unified heavyweight champion, following a convincing and dominating 12-round unanimous decision over American contender Jermaine Franklin. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been in with the truth.